to the Rack Pack. We are your favorite modular synthesizer podcast. And we got the whole rack together here for the first time in a while. I am Blue Nautilus. We also got Stu J with us.
Hey there.
We got Moonbase Alpha.
Greetings.
Asadigi.
Hey, what's going on, good people?
And all the way from Ireland, it's Synth Dad.
Hello, everyone.
So we have so much to talk about, guys. It's been a while. What is going on? I mean, we have since the last episode was right from the middle of Schaumburg in the lobby at KnobCon, and so we've had some time to digest KnobCon. We had Synth Dad and I were in Bristol last weekend at Machina Bristronica, so we got all that to talk about. There's been a whole bunch of new gear since then. What's going on?
Well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about. KnobCon recap. I'd love to hear about your experiences at Machina Bristronica. But I'm also, does it feel like super booth season with the holidays coming? I feel like there are announcements every other day. It just feels like it. There's new gear coming out every other day. It's overwhelming, and I don't know where to look first.
It is kind of crazy right now. It feels like there's just been a slew of, between the Tonverk, the TR1000, and there was a new Akai, and there was a load of other stuff as well. Like
two new Make Noise modules. It's
like, hang on, did I miss something? It's like,
yeah, I think that's to get ready for the holidays, maybe in the buying season. But it was just a random week, first week of October, for all that hardware, all those hardware announcements to hit.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Tonverks, and why don't we get into that one first? Who is on board with this Tonverk? And who can tell me what it is? Because I'm not sure I understand yet what exactly it is.
Looks like
I want one.
Dad's on board.
I want one.
Well, so we were chatting before we went live, because I was looking at a lot of the commentary online, because it seems that people are having very, very hard and like emotional reactions to the Tonverk. They either love it, or they think that Elektron are the most evil company in the world and have to be burnt with fire. Because Tonverk, to a lot of people, should have been an Octatrack, right? I think it seems that out there's this conception that we're all owed an Octatrack, the latest version. And the other thing I'm noticing is, like, I think for a lot of people, Tonverk doesn't fit into a neat little category. What is it? Is it a drum machine, or is it a sampler? Is it a synth? Because it's a sampler, but it doesn't do all the sampling that everybody wants. It can play drum samples, but it can also play things polyphonically. But it's not a synth engine, but you can do single cycle waveforms. You can do multi-sampling. So like it seems to fall either between two stools, as we say, or it covers multiple bases. The reason I bought it was because of the way you could set it up with all of the effects and bus routing. So I kind of conceived of it as a kind of a centerpiece effect bus router. Think of it as an analog heat on steroids, if you will. And, to me,
like a program, an easier to program Octatrack in some ways. With higher quality effects.
With higher, and one would hope a platform that can support more over time. Like, I mean, if we think back to the 1.0 releases of practically every Elektron box, they were so limited in comparison to what they ultimately became. I mean, I can understand why people are frustrated, because they thought they wanted one thing, but they ended up getting something else. But to me, I think it's still it is still a 1.0 release. And I have 15 days left in my return window to decide, will I continue to use this 1.0 release? Yes. That old chestnut.
I could tell you what appeals to me about it. I was inspired by the music of a guy named Rephaser on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Rephazer. He's done some beautiful work with it. And I thought, just for anyone listening, another really useful walkthrough was Sarah Bell Reed's walkthrough. Now, of course, it's the music, the sounds that you hear are definitely in the style of Sarah Bell Reed. So very atonal, what most people wouldn't conventionally call music, but it is. Respect, but the way she walks through its capability and what it can do, I thought was extremely useful. The reason it appeals to me is I love my Digitone 2 and my Digitac 2. I love them, but as much as I wish I could be really good at I'm not. I try to do it, and it just sounds like some guy trying to make EDM on the weekend. But where I love those machines is actually using them to make more melodic songs, or more ambient / melodic songs. But I recognize that it's kind of stretching the boxes in a way that they really weren't designed for. You could certainly do it. And the Tonverk seems to be inviting me to make the kind of music I want with sampling. I don't love sampling. My least favorite part of sampling is sampling, and everything to do with samples. But that said, some of the music I'm hearing out of it really, really appeals to me, and I'd love to give it a shot. So I don't have it yet. And I'm also mindful, as with so many other pieces of gear, I might get it. And then 2.5 weeks later, think, what have I done? What have I done? And what can it do that I can't do with everything behind me? But that's a different philosophical question for another day, or maybe later in this podcast.
I mean, I pre-ordered the thing, and it's for some of the same reasons. The main attraction for me is the multi-sampling part, and being able to take instruments or VSTs that I like and be able to manipulate them in a very sort of controllable way. That's the main appeal. I recognize that there's some things that aren't quite working right yet, but I know that they're going to fix those things. So I'm happy to wait.
Once again, like we've seen this with so many brands, I find it amusing the almost religious fervor that people react to synthesizer releases with. It's like, come on, people are
going to love it. They're going to love it.
I think it'll be a classic.
Yeah, I do too. And I think all it's going to take are one or two really, really respected people in our industry making something glorious with it. And suddenly it's going to be the next best thing. And wait till, I agree with what Circo said on a recent live stream. By the way, I really liked his live stream about the Tonverk. I thought it was fantastic. So shout out to Circo. But he said, don't buy a box for what it isn't yet. Buy it for what it is. That said, Elektron does have a demonstrated history of just improving and improving and improving and improving. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't expect the same thing to happen to the Tonverk. And I don't know what that'll be, but I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah, not for me. No thanks.
No thanks.
I don't want it either. I mean, I just got my first Elektron box just a couple of months ago, and I'm not in a position of needing another one yet, and I still don't understand what this thing does.
You're not ready to commit to 11 button presses to load a single sample slot?
Wow, that's
whoops.
Sorry.
Tell us how you really feel.
Come on, we all do modular here. Like, we can't be complaining about making easy things.
And you certainly can't complain about the expense of the Tonverk either if you're into modular. It's like, how much capability do you get for that much money?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like 4 modules. Yeah.
Okay, you want to know something that I do want though? I want the Strymon Car Plus.
Supercar Plus.
Supercar Plus, exactly.
That thing sounds beautiful.
It sounds beautiful, and we've already talked about my addiction to delays, and Car Plus strong synthesis is it's technically a delay.
It's like the original delay.
It's like the original delay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And I just really like the sound of those strings. I've got like a bunch of different modules that do that, probably too many, and maybe there's a lot of overlap with what I already have. But it's got this chord mode that makes really beautiful chords as well. So
and at 12 HP for 32 voices. Like I ordered one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What other Car Plus Strong modules do you have? I know you've got the Strymon, the Reverb, which has a Car Plus Strong mode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have rings, I guess, and Elements
Surface?
clone. I've got 2 surfaces.
Mm-hmm. 2 surfaces.
I got 2 surfaces, so I can go duophonic with my surface. I had IntelliGel Planck for a little while, but I sold that one.
Mimeophone will do it too, actually. Mimeophone will do it. I think C-Legs will do it.
Yeah, Mimeophone will do it for sure. I think C-Legs as well.
Yeah, I'm looking around. Looks around.
Certainly, if anyone has your analog delay 1, that's an analog.
And delay 1 will do it, and the Samarkanda from Chaos Devices can also comfortably
Oh, really?
do it times 4 because it's 4 delay lines over there.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talking about expenses. We were going to talk about the TR-1000, the drum machine that we've all waited our whole lives for, apparently, because in contrast to the Tonverk, the reaction to this seems to be universally positive, despite the fact that it costs over twice as much. And do you really want to spend that on a drum machine? And if you're Jeff Mills, yes, because you'll make the thing sound bloody amazing. But for the rest of us, who needs a drum machine like this?
I mean, who would ever need another drum machine if you had this?
Well,
that's
can the same? I'd like to ask this question: what can it do that the analog rhythm hasn't been able to do for 6 years?
Okay, first of all, it has the original Roland analog circuits. It's got layer morphing. It's got
Analog
really
rhythm
nice-
does layering.
But can you morph between them with a like actively morph between them as a performance?
I don't think so.
I think it's got something like 40 plus gigs of sample storage, so a lot more on that front. It's got all of Roland's emulations. I forget what they call it, but they have that proprietary digital emulation. of a lot of their
ACB or
boxes.
something?
Something along those lines. It's just a really well.
PCM.
And also all the
Okay, but-
faders for each track. Does analog rhythm
So
have that?
aside from faders for each track, sample morphing, more memory,
Original analog
Aside
circuits.
from all of the
Roland's-
features.
Don't forget you have
aside
knobs
from
better
per
I/O.
track, the knob per.
aside from convenience of not
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Yeah, I definitely got caught on the YouTube rabbit hole with the TR-1000. Lupop must be exhausted. I imagine him just like lying someplace after having to do the MPC3, the TR-1000. Just he's had a busy week.
Yeah,
It's sold out
let's
everywhere,
not-
though. It's gone. Like,
Yeah,
you can't find it.
already
anywhere.
gone. Yeah,
It's sold out. It's
Yeah. At least in Europe,
I picture
can't see it anywhere.
I
I was
picture
thinking-
Lupop with his wife, by the way. She serves dinner. He's like, let's get to the pros and cons. Like, I'm just picturing him. Everything he says is in that setup.
Jump ahead if you'd like to hear about the green beans. That's chapter 3.
They get a new
So,
tire
so these green beans aren't for everyone, but
But that's a firmware issue. I'm sure that'll be updated. Yeah. The
I mean,
The
has
TR-1
any of us planned to get this thing? I don't have a single drum machine. I'm just like not a drum guy. So this is what
Well, you got the Digitact.
Okay, that's true. I don't know if is that a drum machine?
I think it's called a drum computer.
Drum computer. Okay, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Congrats. Says it right there above the screen.
I'm going to get one.
We can all live vicariously through Jeffy. I want to get one, and I will get one. Maybe
And I'm
one day.
getting rid of my analog rhythm.
Ooh, I did too.
okay.
I might get
So-
rid of my Pulsar 23 as well. We talked about this.
Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of
Now we're getting
drum,
spicy. Now we're getting
a lot of
spicy.
drum focused synthesis looked at their wall, and when the Roland came out, and they're like, some of you guys have got to go.
So is that really it? Is it going to take the place of multiple drum units that we're all kind of using? And isn't the point that, like, if you want to have a real like experimental drum unit, you might go with, say, one of the Pulsar or something, or if you want the classic 808 909 sound, you would have gotten a TR-8S or something like that, or a Roland RD9.
Well, if you don't already have one of those, though, you're getting one with your TR-1000. That's the thing. You're getting so many things with it that if you've ever been, I just think it's a great way to combine a bunch of drum machines into a relatively small space. It's a big box, but the capability just far outstrips the real estate it takes up.
It's the first legitimate pro level drum machine that's dropped in a while, years and years. That's why I think everyone's really excited about it, right? Like, when was the last drum machine of this level dropped? The only thing I saw Travarsi messing around with it,
has one,
and she's like, "Can't wait to take this out to a live show." I'm like, "You better be lifting weights or doing something." That thing is gigantic. So I'm interested to see how that's going to sit on the desk between her modular setups and all that good stuff.
Interesting if they come out with smaller, less capable versions, like the TR-6S version of that.
Will people be selling their Percons for this?
I'm going to keep my Percons.
I think that's the one drum machine that keeps its place. Just that sequencer on the voices on the Percons are hard
Because
to
the
beat.
immediacy.
Yeah, that immediacy on that thing. Yeah.
Well, that's
and
really
it's actually more portable than the TR-1000.
If I needed a drum machine to fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, though, I'd choose the TR-1000 over something called Percons.
Well, for sure.
TR-1000.
Yeah.
because it's like the T1000. You know, you want to battle that with a TR1000. You know,
Just wait until there's a bad gear on it with audio.
Well,
bills.
then there'll be the TRS-1000 after that.
Yeah.
True. You're making me tempted now to return this Tonverk and get a TR1000, even though I don't need a drum
It's such
machine.
a cool device.
No,
it
don't
has
do
a
it.
nice Master Effects section too, and then it takes external audio, so you can process whatever you want through their effects. I definitely went down the rabbit hole. Yeah, man. But let's see. So we have the TR-1000, right? But also the MPC-3. I know we're not a bunch of accomplished finger drummers over here, but pretty interesting platform announcement with the kind of quad XY corner buttons, so you can get almost up to 64 samples.
And don't forget about the 16 sequencer buttons running along the top of
They
the machine.
definitely got the idea of more buttons on this one.
But is this
Apparently,
one
it's
of
a lot
those-
more capable, more powerful. I'm not deep into that ecosystem, but the people who I know who like that are really into.
Yeah, if you ever
box.
want to see that thing put through its paces, just check out John Does Beats or John Wayne, because he's always putting together some really good hip hop. And he's going to do some great stuff with that.
Is this one of those ones that, like the Akai stuff, the MPCs, you have to really commit to the workflow? It's like, you know, it's like a way of life. It's like, this is the way it will be.
It's a DAW in a box.
Yeah, it's a DAW in a box.
Yeah.
Committed.
It's a DAW in a box.
It's a way of life. I tried to, at least with the previous generation hardware, try to integrate it with other things, and it really wants to be the center. It doesn't want to be controlled by something else. So
Ivan, we
you
see
still
our
have
guy Ali in one of
I
the
still I have
promo
an
specs.
MPC. I have an MPC one. Still have it somewhere.
I saw
Another thing we
Ali.
could,
Oh, sorry about that, Synthad. Yeah, I saw Ali, one of our former guests, doing some promo for it. I think maybe it was a Sweetwater promo or something, but it was cool to see him checking out because he can
He's
definitely
really
cut
good with
things
that.
up with an MPC. Yeah.
Totally. Mark, Synthad, you were saying?
we're blowing our cover. We could talk about controllers. I have two here. We've got the drop from Neuzeit, which I did a video, Bo Beats did a video, Midlife Synthesis did a video, all from very different perspectives.
Yeah, I have one question. And because I'll tell you why I'm thinking about it. And I had a bunch of MIDI controllers. I used to have an Octatrack. I didn't gel with the workflow. And for me, I couldn't justify spending that money just to use EasyBot's template, which is incredible. EasyBot's work on it is genius. And if you
I can't
have
wait
an
for until he
Octatrack-
does the same thing for this, by the way.
yeah, support him. That said, to me, look, I just recently got an OPXY, and just like you with the Tonverk, I'm like, should I keep it? Can I justify having spent that much? Because I take long flights. You know what I mean? So, but that has these wonderful drop-in effects. Kind of gives this, I feel that you're on an Octatrack when you're performing, because you can, at the touch of a button, get these wild effects. Can't really control them too much. It's unclear whether there will ever be any effects other than what they put in there.
That's where the drop comes in.
And that's what my question, which is my question. Could the drop turn if I get a Tonverk or my Digitact, could it turn it into an Octatrack? Because I've got effects
it
macros
certainly
now.
it certainly turns it into something that is way more capable than any of those machines are by themselves, just because of the ability to morph between presets and to plan either immediate parameter triggers or
Fade into them.
fade into them or morph to them.
merge them. Yeah.
So that, plug in the drop to your OPXY, suddenly you have 8 faders to control the levels of each track, and you can set up some of it to send notes if you want.
You actually have
set up-
16 faders because it has 2
Oh,
layers.
right.
That's 2 layers.
Exactly.
Right? And all of these...
This has faders too.
Yeah,
well,
but you can't see what you're manipulating. You have to put a bunch of tape on there. There's no display. Whereas this one, when you start manipulating one of the knobs, it tells you what you're moving.
And also,
to the
it's
people
got
just
the,
listening to this, we are holding up hardware that we aren't talking about what the hardware is. So I'm pretty sure Stooge just had an Ovation Plus controller.
Yeah,
If
so
everyone
that
can
last-
see
the
it.
older one.
Don't forget.
Last night, I'll give you an example. I set up the Tonverk with the drop beside it on my kitchen counter, and I just using a single USB cable from the USB 1 port on the Tonverk into the Neuzeit drop, and there's already a preset definition for the MIDI mapping for the Tonverk on the drop in the database because they're all open source, and they recognized each other, and off we go.
Just
Hit
like
play
that.
on the drop, it played on the Tonverk, and I was just mapping the filter mappings and stuff. So like, you think about it, you've got 8 audio tracks and you've got 3 bus tracks, you've got whatever. There's your mapping over here on the drop, and you've got all your effect sounds and everything like that mapped to different things. And yeah, I think they would be a super powerful combo. Like, I looked at using it with modular because I was like, this could actually be a preset manager for modular. But like, I'm even thinking like that plus the Tonverk plus a smaller modular could be a very compelling kind of travel performance system.
Like a small modular effects unit. Also, EasyBot
Yes.
just recently did a video showing off his small modular effects. It was brilliant. It was great.
Exactly, yeah. Or the drums from the Tonverk, and you're manipulating them, which means your modular case can focus just on the melodic pieces and just really do what modular does best, of course, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing being driven by an Oxy 1 and controlled by a drop. So, like, it's a really, it's one of those devices that are so unusually powerful. Everyone is going to end up a different way using it, I think, personally.
Yeah.
You do have a lot.
Synthad, you're always very positive in your reviews, but I could tell from this one that you really, really like this thing.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you pick something up and just, it feels right, the tactile feel of it.
Yep.
You know, it just, and it's thin and it's metal, and you know, you could, again, TR-1000, you could at a gig.
It's also
You
sold
could
out.
definitely murder somebody with it.
Sold
Well,
out
you
at
know, if
Perfect
you're at a
Circuit.
gig in a rough club, you know, you need to.
I mean, by murder, I mean, self-defense.
You mean the
Didn't
beats? You're gonna
Bo
murder.
in his recent video talk about whether you could kill a zombie with each individual?
Oh, yeah.
apparently
TR-1000
this is-
is definitely a zombie killer.
That's like a nuclear zombie killer.
Yeah,
You
but
drop
you're
that
talking
and-
about one of those old school slow walking zombies. We're not talking.
Oh, yeah,
28
not the
days,
fast
not 28
ones.
days later zombies.
No.
Right.
All right, I've got a question for the group. And
Is
it's
it
kind of-
zombie related?
It is, well, I'm becoming a
tertiary.
zombie, but it's this, and it's kind of inspired by a couple things. It's inspired by Synth Dad saying, should I sell the Tonverk and get the drum machine? And so the question is, should I sell my OPXY and get the Tonverk and the drop? Obviously having to spend a little bit more to make that happen, but what does the group think?
I'm going to say no, and that might surprise you. And the reason I'm going to say no is your particular use case was very similar to me, taking long transatlantic flights from Europe to the West Coast. You want a portable device. Now, yeah, sure, you can put a Tonverk in your backpack and bring it on, but you're not taking a drop on a Tonverk in a backpack onto the plane. Well, an OPXY you can stick in your pocket or you can stick in your bag and use on the plane.
Yeah.
So,
But I have
from that
traveled
point of view.
before the
Yeah,
OPXY. I would take my Digitakt or Digitone and a nice big battery and sit there and make music. I would
What
do
class
that.
are you flying in here, Stu? Where you got like multiple
Not first,
tables?
not first
of,
class.
Synths going on.
Musicians in the back. No, not.
So I would say what you want is you want that OPXY, and then you can extend its capabilities with the drop. Extend them substantially without changing your composition workflow, just extending your performance workflow.
Yeah.
Also,
That's
I have
what
to
I would say.
advocate for your wife here, because one of the reasons why you got that OPXY was because she didn't like to see you lugging these big black boxes on the plane, and she wanted to see something that looked nice and was designed well. And I know sometimes you're going to travel on your own, but you're taking a family trip. The OPXY seems like the thing.
It's not that she minded seeing me lugging it. It's that she minded she can't take legitimate required luggage because we have now exceeded what we're permitted to bring on the flight, because I needed to bring a Eurorack 7U case.
You needed to, yeah. I get it.
So, yeah.
These are the challenges.
Okay. Yeah. I think maybe I'll just cool my jets.
Well, we talk about Machina Bristronica because myself and Blue Nautilus were there last weekend. Seems like an age ago. It's an easy flight for me for once, just across the water. And for those who don't know, Machina Bristronica, it's been held for a few years, but in its current incarnation, this is, I think, the third year it's been on. It's 2 days, over 2 days. It's like a mini super booth in Bristol. Talks, live performances. DivKid has a very casual live stage where manufacturers sign up and they chat about their stuff. Big show floor, very casual, wandering around, chatting with everybody. Tons of after parties, way too much drinking. Pre-parties as well. I've been to it a few years running, but Blue Nautilus, this was your first time there. What did you think? You were exhibiting, weren't you?
Yeah, it was. It's such a good show. I mean, first of all, it's just incredibly well organized. They have so much going on. There's, in addition to the main show floor, there's like 3 different rooms with, talks, and there's the DivKid stage, and there are performances. And just to give you an idea of how smooth this thing runs, like DivKid was out there all day, and he'd have a conversation with somebody, and there'd be like a 15-minute break before the next conversation. And rather than just like sit there and wait, there would be like a DJ that swooped in and would like play in the tent for a while, like in between the DivKid talks. It was just like all very nicely done. And then outside there were food trucks with all kinds of great kind of artisanal food. And the vibe inside the location where it's held, Document, it's an old paper factory. And so it has this kind of industrial feel, and they had some art exhibits set up in there. And the whole thing just had exactly the right vibe that you'd want from a show like this. And, having gone to KnobCon a couple weeks before, not to knock KnobCon at all, but it's in a very different vibe because it's in a hotel, and in the hotel kind of conference rooms where you're having those performances. And it just feels very different when you're in this industrial setting and listening to techno instead of in a hotel conference room. So I thought it was great. And the actual show, there was so much to see, so much different stuff for me to see coming from the U.S., so many different people to meet. Got to meet all of the European makers that don't normally make it across to the U.S. So that was just really fun for me.
Well, was there anything that stood out for you? Any particular, wow, I got to get one of them? Other than obviously Proteus, which everybody should have in their rack, folks. But other than Proteus, what would be the standout kind of things that grabbed your eye this year?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that you as an exhibitor, there's these different aisles, and you get to know the people in your aisle really well because they're like your neighbors the whole time. And so those are the people that I talked to the most and got to know their personas and their equipment really well. So I was right next to Mordax, Brandon from Mordax. He is showing that new Siren wavetable oscillator they have. When
is that going on sale?
They're still working out some kinks, but it's getting there. So did one of us have one of the original ones that it was based on? I remember it was
I do.
Based,
I have 3 of them.
You have 3 of them. There were very few of them made, so it seems like you have some percentage of the ones that weren't in existence.
Of course he does.
Of course he does, yeah. I was also across the street from, I forget his name, but the guy who does Black and Blue modular. And he's got some cool stuff. One of the synthesizers that he have, it's called the Oscar D, some 3-letter thing.
Lorenta?
No, that was a filmmaker, I think. This is like an FM synth, but it's based on some patent that Yamaha had that expired. I guess nobody noticed that the patent expired, and it was for this special kind of FM synthesis that has some other technical name, and it does makes a lot of the sounds that FM makes, but with a lot less hassle, and it's easier to use, and so that thing seemed really neat. I also really liked. I was also in the same aisle as the people from Fairy Island Modular. It's a small company from Finland, and they are working on getting their first module out. They showed it at Super Booth. but it is a 4D wavetable oscillator, and it's just a really beautiful looking machine and really wonderful sounding. And so I'm really interested in that one as well. How about you, Synthad? You see something there?
Yeah,
Got
I
you
was
excited?
I was chatting with the Ferry Island folks because what was interesting for me, having gone to Super Booth and then seeing a lot of the same people present at Machina, was like to watch the evolution of stuff, to see as stuff coming along and getting closer and closer ready for release, you know. So the Ferry Island, the chaps there had their wavetable oscillator, and that is ready to go. Like, they have it in boxes, it's all nicely packaged. Hopefully I'll be able to play around with one. Some of the stuff that I really liked was, for example, the Bella, the Bella.io platform, who do the Gliss.
Oh yeah, that thing
Now,
was great.
Trails,
the
right?
trails.
Trails.
Now, they were showing this, and I was playing with this at Super Booth in May back in Berlin. And, I was looking at it, I was like, okay, sure, that's a 2D gesture recorder. Yeah, fine. Yeah, like a joystick, but use your finger. It's really, really come along. And they were up on the DivKit stage, super casual. Robert from Bella was demoing it. It was very, just kind of impromptu stuff. But they've really just nailed so many good aspects of what you'd want out of that, like quantizing the finger movements, or like putting filters on your finger movement to slow it down and smooth it out, or like adjusting the playback speed of each of the kind of the things so that you could have quadraphonic finger movements and stuff going. And like, the more he was showing, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is unbelievable. Like,
I know, it does so much more than you would expect. They're like really like squeezing the juice out of that interface that they got.
They
there.
really
It's
are.
really neat.
But and the funniest part was, and this is the thing I also loved, because the entire thing is a screen, because after all, I'm holding my hands up to imagine a 2D LED screen that you draw on touch sensitive. It can display text. So now they don't have to have tiny screens or obscure button combos or colors. Like, that was what always confused me with the Gliss, was like, I never knew what mode I was in based on the lights that showed up.
I just
here.
sold mine yesterday.
And I want to keep them because they're super useful, but
Yeah.
this now shows the text because they've got this big,
That's
almost
huge.
like scrolling LED display.
See, I didn't even know that. I'm glad. That's interesting. Interesting.
And even DivKid was like, "Oh, thank God you have like proper big text. I can read it. I don't need to put glasses on." And
What's it called?
Trails. Trails, because you're drawing a trail. It's like around a 2D thing.
That makes me think of Circadian Rhythms from Tip Top. They had that giant grid. They used the grid for basically the menu
Yes,
display.
very similar to that, but this time with more modern technology.
Very cool.
I know they're very big into the open source stuff. A lot of the Gliss stuff was open source, so maybe this too will also get open source. Another one that I really liked, which I have beside me here to try out, is the Fader Punk, which I'm holding up in front of the camera for those of you listening along at home.
When can I get one of those?
You can't. You can't. You're not allowed. It's just against the rules. Sorry.
I'm asking when. Not
No, I'm not telling you.
never. I'm never allowed to get
You're
one.
never allowed. Specifically, the chap from
okay.
ATV Project said that guy, that Moonbase Alpha guy. No way.
Damn.
Anyway, let's talk about what it isn't. What it isn't is just a like-for-like replacement for the original 16N fader bank, right? Because this is from the A2V project, the same people who did the 16N fader bank. And so, yes, you have faders. Yes, you can move them. Yes, it'll send MIDI. And yes, you can send, control voltage out here. But I actually imagine this as a 16...
Okay, we gotta jump in for a moment, folks. A raccoon has not. No, we're gonna keep this.
There's
This
a
is
raccoon
amazing.
invasion.
A raccoon has come into the
How
studio.
did they get in here?
Blue Nautilus had to step away, and we're hearing him rustling for a cable. But
No one's ever
we're all
gonna hear
okay.
this part of it.
Synthad, no, it's great. I think we should keep it. Synthad, we're all human. It's great. It's relatable. Synthad, go ahead. You were saying.
I'm all good.
I don't feel
Sorry,
it
I didn't
anymore.
At least we didn't hear
so good.
screams
By the way,
in the background.
By the way, we all communicate with each other sometimes during this recording, and he's like, "My battery's running low." We're like, "Just slip away. Nobody will know the difference." And then all hell breaks loose. So welcome to podcasting.
Then the stampede of raccoons began. The running of the raccoons.
Oh goodness.
Well, anyway, while I was over there, I don't know what you guys were saying, but I had some thoughts, so I'll let Synthad finish.
Synthad's telling about this fader bank.
I was trying to get stuff back together after that.
Just got
Anyway, so the fader bank, so it's more than just a fader bank, right? Because now you can actually run little apps on each of the channels. So they can be attack decay envelopes, they could be an LFO, they could be a quantizer, they could be a Euclidean trigger generator. And there's an API, and I think they're open sourcing some of it so that you're able to write your own. So I can plug this in and configure the first two as a attack decay envelope. This one as an LFO, this one's something else. So I almost think of it as like stages was, where you could have each different thing on stages being part of an envelope or an LFO, or maybe it's a quantizer, or maybe it's a trigger generator. You can do MIDI to CV, you can do CV to MIDI. I think it's an actual really interesting take. There's a few things on it I would want to see changed and improved. I have some feedback on some of the things, but you could have a small modular system pair this up, and not only would it control it, it could be a sequencer, it could be all your envelopes you need, it could be a couple of LFOs, they could implement VCAs in this if they wanted to. So I actually think, this is I'm almost thinking this as a toolkit for your modular versus yet another fader controller. That wouldn't be that interesting, I think.
And it comes with all these stickers you can label the channels with, right? So that makes it a lot easier to know exactly what you've done.
Yeah, and the buttons are multicolored as well, I think. Yeah.
And when am I going to be unbanned from purchasing this thing?
I think it's available for purchase later this month. I would have to go check the website.
Okay.
But I do think
one per customer.
Even people like Moonbase Alpha will be allowed to buy one of these, and one being the operative number.
Awesome.
Yeah, the design from afar looks fantastic. I think that's Paper Noise's work, who we know have a long history of designing some very good hardware. Or not designing the hardware, but adding designs to very good hardware, I should say.
Another thing I saw at the show that I'm excited about, so the Soma Flux, which is that big, long instrument that works kind of like a theremin, where you wear these little magnetic, you don't wear them, but you hold these little magnetic controllers and you move your hand above the board, and you can do a lot of sort of smooth transitions, and it's a really interesting instrument. Our friend Anton, who will be a guest on this podcast at some point, has made some really great music with it. And I've been really interested in this thing for a long time because given that my background is in Indian classical music, I really need to be able to, in order to recreate some of the things from that musical style, need to be able to glide around amongst the notes and between the notes. And up until now, you've really just been able to control the instrument itself. So it has some synthesized sounds within it that are not bad, but they were demoing the breakout box for this thing that allows you to use it as a controller for anything else. It's both MIDI and it's got CV and gate out as well. So you can now hook up the Flux to your modular and control pretty much anything with it. And that, for me, opens this instrument up as a possibility.
Yeah, the breakout box is on the way, right? Or still pending?
They said within a week or two. So by
cool.
the time people are hearing this, it may actually be out.
Not only Anton, but I'd love to have our good friend Bartok Felipe, who is a Soma expert. I think he would be someone who could tell us a lot about those instruments.
There was another thing that grabbed my eye, which wouldn't be something I would ever buy, but certainly there's a market for it, which is PWM, the UK company who did the Malevolent and a few other little synths like that, bought the rights to the Oscar company. I think they actually bought the company, and hence they got the rights to the original Oscar, the ARP Oscar, I think. And they are busy recreating that synth, which is an iconic little, it's little, but it was an iconic synth from, let's say, the 80s. I'm not even sure of the date. And they had a very, very stripped down prototype there, literally a keyboard with the circuit boards. to let people play and see exactly what they were doing. So much, the recreation is so faithful that it still had classic dual inline ICs like you would have got back in the 80s. No, none of the surface mount stuff. And a cassette interface to play back your presets in, just like you did on the original. So like
some recreations are too faithful.
I was going, really? No USB? No. And he's like, no, we are taking the actual schematics and we are rebuilding the synth that was, just with modern manufacturing techniques, and it will be available. And I would imagine it will be at a collector's price point, or not an impulse purchase price point. But for those who want it, this is the one they'll want for sure. And even though I don't see any practical purpose for it, certainly for me, I'm not the target market for this. I love that there are people out there as bonkers as Paul from PWM taking on these challenges and like recreating these designs. And it was like, all of the people of a certain vintage, shall we say, at Machina were drawn to this because it brought back memories of their youth. And for the rest of us, it was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. But like, there were a set of people who were like, here is my money. Take my money now and give me one, please.
Take my money.
Speaking of eccentric creations and things aren't for most people, Moonbase, do you remember that polyphonic module that we demoed right at the end of KnobCon? And they also had that really cool passive switchable filter from high pass to low pass. Right. That thing was ridiculous.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, we got to track that down. I mean, it was just this,
where was it?
It was at KnobCon. It was the row behind yours, kind of like the back corner, and they had a full key bed, but it was just the hardware, each voice card, the amount of polyphony. It was an insane module that I think Moonbase has his eye on, but we will see. Hopefully he can track down the name while we're still talking. But really quickly, I wanted to shout out Metamither. And I'm not one who has a Vic, but I know that there is a rabid fan following, and he demoed a bunch of new algorithms coming out soon.
Yeah, that was a great video. I got the Vic X Forge time weeks ago, maybe even months ago, and I wasn't able to rack it up and really use it until about 2 or 3 nights ago. And I just got, I had all these ideas. I'm going to send it through this and through that and do this and that. Nope. I just a couple hours of just kind of turning knobs and taking it all in. It's a lot. It's wild things happen, and things morph without you doing anything necessarily. So I think, this is a good sound, and then 5 minutes later, it's something entirely different. It's really wild. It's really wild.
It's one of these models that people who have it are raving about it a lot. I am intrigued by it, but I wonder, especially with these new algorithms, and maybe you can tell me what you think, Stu. Is it too much choice to have like 18 algorithms in there? I feel like I'm going to spend all my time like just switching back. Oh no, maybe that one's better. And also, like in Metamither's video, they all kind of sound similar.
They all kind of sound the same. And I did enjoy the video. I thought it sounded great, and I also thought to myself, none of this is necessary.
Right.
Like there are 9. It comes with 9 algorithms. If you ask ChatGPT, it'll hallucinate and say 32 because that happened to me. But it's 9, and I mean there are worlds in there. Those 9, there are worlds in there, and I think it's good to add more. But if we want to take that philosophical question to its logical, logically extend it. Do you need it if you have an Oneroid? Do you need it if you have a Solar 42? Do you need it if you have a complex VCO and some great reverb? I don't know.
Well, that's a very dangerous
dangerous. I always love going there, though.
Dangerous line of questioning.
Take us right to the edge of the existential dread in
our existence, our very existence. It's interesting. Cinematic Laboratory has a new video out about the new Make Noise QMG, QMX. Thank you, something like that. Yeah, QMX. Thanks. Which I just ordered. Can get into that, and the polymaths. And one thing that he says, I'd love to have him as a guest. Robert, I'm going to reach out, but at one point he says, "I believe we are now in the been there, done that era of Eurorack," and this was praise. This was praise for the polymaths. And I'm no longer interested in a new oscillator. I'm no longer interested in a new filter. show me something truly different, and this is it. And I'm just wondering if the group has any thoughts on that. And it is for that reason that I do plan to get the polymaths next. It's just
sure
different, and I don't know what to do with it.
I'm not
Well,
sure I
I get
understand
it.
his point. Is it really different, or is it like a reimagining of an old thing, like how we don't make new movies anymore, and we're in the phase of just like remaking all the movies from our childhood? Is that what he's saying, or?
I don't think so. I think the whole philosophy, the whole stated philosophy behind the new Make Noise NUSS system is that it is new.
But new without breaking anything.
New without breaking anything. People still trying to understand not only how to use them, but why they're actually new. Are they new? Is it just more of a, are we just entering old booklet territory? I don't know. I'm still trying to sort it.
I just hope. Sorry to interrupt you, Stu J. I was just going to say quickly that it seems like a better implementation than what art has been so far, in the sense that they're trying to find a new way to create polyphonic and multiple signals from a kind of a single source. So it's a unique take from Jumbler, and by the way, it's called QXG.
Thank you.
Not
Thank you.
QXM or whatever. But I think that they definitely got a little buzz for that blurred out oscillator in the demo video, so that should be interesting in the NUS system. But I'm happy to stay away from polymaths and all that jazz for now.
So the idea, as I get it, is that these modules all connect behind the panel to each other in some kind of way. So you're kind of putting together, and you can still break the whatever normaling is there by patching them. So it's kind of like making a big semi-modular synth, right? I mean, can you say a little bit about it? Like what's the I still don't understand what the relationship between polymaths and the original maths is, because I still never had a maths.
Having not used the polymaths, I'm not exactly clear on that yet.
I mean, it's right. It's 8 channels. It's 8 channels of maths, right? So you can either cycle it. You've got your rise and fall controls, and the other side is kind of like oscillator territory, right? So you can do a span and a spread of what the signals are affecting across the channels. It looks like a really powerful and amazing kind of function generator and movement generator, but with the stuff with the rear connections and visualizing how, like, it's weird to look at a patch and not know what's patched. That would confuse me a little bit. But I'm sure they've done it in an intelligent way. I just need to learn more.
I mean, it's not like I can actually see with all the cables going on what's actually patched sometimes.
I'll report back when I get it. I'll probably get it sometime in October. I'll report back.
But I think, we're all thankful there's companies like Make Noise doing different things. I think, saying everything's been done, I wouldn't necessarily agree. Like when we come across a new type of synthesis, like, with warp core, with the phase synthesis, I forget the name, maybe spectrograph or no, not spectrograph. But we got demoed basically a digital mellotron with 2 layers. And that was actually in the DivKit server, one of the developers' friends, and that showed up at KnobCon. But I remember messing with that, thinking like, wow, what an incredible module this thing's going to be when it comes out, with dual layer, sample based, all different types of manipulations you could do that just would never be possible in physical form. So I'm really excited for when that exists.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it's all been done. There's still so much room for creativity, and that's definitely the feeling you come away with after going to these shows like KnobCon and Machina Bristronica, that there's so many interesting things that people are working on that just didn't exist before, and that you haven't seen before, and new ideas and new combinations of old ideas, that there's still plenty to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to get Robert's take on it. Just hear him out on that. We can agree with him. We can challenge him. I'm curious, but I personally am getting to the point where I hear of a new oscillator or a new filter, and I am just kind of like, all right, another one.
Yeah, so I would agree that, like, with how affordable microcontrollers are and screens, like, anyone can put together a very powerful package now. I have multiple polyphonic, almost full synth voices, almost full synthesizers in a Eurorack module. At what point is that just a small synthesizer, versus an actual Eurorack module? But where I still find interesting things coming out, and where my mind would go if somebody was announcing something, is for effects, like the Oniri, just completely bonkers. Like, and I love it. and I actually have it in a lot of different patches for that reason. So there are still people like the multigrain or even C-Legs. They're just taking nice or unique twists on effects. And to me, I think that could be where, and I know it's harder to do effect programming because of the DSP work involved. It's a lot more complex, but I would love to see a lot more innovation there, taking advantage of all these super powerful platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Even with filters, though, there can be innovation. We saw a friend of ours, Isaac from Toadstool Tech, gave us a kind of a sneak preview of a filter that he's working on that has some features I've never seen in a filter before, and that's going to be totally new. I traded a Noah from Instruo for this Pro Scion stereo filter.
Oh, the stereo filter, yeah.
I have that. Yeah. It's really good.
Do you have it? I haven't gotten a chance to try it yet.
It gets really aggressive very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like me.
Keeping it calm has been a challenge, but when you hit that sweet spot, it's really good.
Like Blue Nalos.
Sorry, Asa, I think I cut you off there.
No. You're all good.
Say something anyway.
You guys have got me now looking at my MX-12 and thinking about the Neuzeit drop, and I hate that. I'm very upset. I keep peeking to my left, thinking about getting rid of that thing now and swapping into a new MIDI controller.
Get rid of.
It's tough.
But that's like, I mean, the Fader Fox up until this point, the MX-12, I sold it recently, my one. They were the best. And, they are still indestructible out there.
Yeah,
kind of in
the that's on the zombie team. That's on the zombie team for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. The drop is a fantastic instrument. I'm sure it'll learn its place, but the MX-12 is just as capable. Not just as capable. It doesn't have all the functionality, but it is still an excellent controller, nevertheless.
Which one without, obviously no disrespect to either one, is there a UI that you prefer one over the other?
Well, the MX-12 is just straightforward, right? I mean, it's just literally knobs and pots. There's not a lot going on. So the level of complexity and the features on the drop are going to be...
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the drop can do MIDI merging, MIDI filtering, MIDI routing, repitching, reinterpreting MIDI, translating MIDI.
Oh, yeah. I had a question for you, Synth.
Yeah.
What about, so it's got MIDI A and B out ports, separated ports for each...
No, it's auto-detecting... the inputs, and you can set each individual output to A or B.
Okay.
But these are actually treated as separate ports. In other words, you can route the input to one set of things and have something happen to it, and you can then connect the output to an entirely different set of things. So you could have a keyboard on and in, and you could have this going out to your modular, but then 5 other things coming in here, plus this going out to the modular and the keyboard. I mean, you're not limited.
You plug in your Oxy to that, you plug in your keyboard to that.
Because I plug the Oxy in with the USB. And the nice thing about that is, as I showed in the video, and I still haven't fully explored this, I want to be able to control the Oxy more with this to give you more control over the sequencer and maybe the density of sequences and stuff like that. Certainly for some of the more stochastic, the generative sequencers on the Oxy, it could do with a bit more control. That would give it to you. But then, you can plug in all your other MIDI gear to the back of that, because there's beyond the USB, there's 4 MIDI outs. So 1, 2, 3, 4 different MIDI modules here, all running off that. I don't need a MIDI mult anymore. I don't need a MIDI splitter anymore,
Yeah. I think, I've got to go back and watch your video again. I think that once you've got 3 of those boxes, right, you've got your modular case, you've got the drop, you've got the Oxy 1 Mark II, Mark III. That's a decent amount of things now are going on the table. It's not the simplest of setups is what I'm saying, but still very, very, very powerful.
And that is the challenge. I think it's not now I'm looking at it, of course, I'm looking over here over my shoulder. Nobody can see what I'm looking at, but I'm looking at my modular setup that I actually used in my drop video, and the Oxys here as well. Like, that took me a while to figure out the routing and figure out, like, what am I going to put together here? But once you get that locked in, okay, you're locked in. I would imagine, the drop is going to be one of those, and you'll find that's too at the MX-12. It's like it pays to sit down and do a little bit of thinking about, okay, what exactly is being controlled and how am I controlling it, and why do I want to control something off the MIDI controller versus reaching into the modular case and turning a knob there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, very cool though. What a surprising release, and what a neat way to push performing forward. I think there's going to be some really cool stuff with that, with that controller.
Reaction to it has been very positive. So I'm going to, after this now, I'm going to go sit down and pair it up with the Tonverk and see if I can justify keeping it.
Is it? I know everywhere I've looked on the drop, it says that it's available for pre-order. Is that because it was available and sold out in a minute and a half, or has it not been available for the public yet?
No, it's out and available, and if you're going to order and they say it's out of stock, they've run through their first batch of stock.
Okay.
Yeah, I did actually hear from them. It fully sold out the first batch, even before.
And I saw the photo of it. He had like a truck pallet's worth of devices going out to get shipped, but people want them.
Yeah, he was very pleased. Look,
I'm very happy to be getting one.
And the thing I love, as we've always said, these are, in this case, it's one person, and many of these companies are one or two people, you know? Like this makes a difference in someone's life. This is how they're providing for family or buying a home or whatever it is. And so this isn't just some big corporation adding another widget to the spreadsheet. Like this is someone who's put their heart and soul into something. So, you know, it's always rewarding when that happens.
If you guys want my daughter to eat, buy a Proteus.
Yeah, only if you care about humanity.
Jesus.
Buy a Proteus. No, but it is good. It is great that this product in particular, though, I think is so well thought out, and it's for a it's a niche product for sure, but it's so well executed on its first iteration that I just have really high hopes for it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this has been really good. Is there anything else on your mind that you want to get in there before we start wrapping up here?
Well, for anyone unfortunate enough to be seeing us all on video, I just got to shout out the new Rack Pack merch.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So there is a T-shirt that people can find.
Where can they get that?
They can find that at modularbias.com/shop, and you'll get yourself your very own The Rack Pack T-shirt. Other guests should be wearing theirs shortly.
Maybe I should get one of those.
Maybe you should.
I was going to wear mine for this one, but it's actually in the laundry, and we would have both been wearing our purple shirts. But next time.
I smuggled some into Europe.
You did. That and a couple of KnobCon tees.
Okay, so this was a lot of fun. Great to talk to you guys again. And remember to follow us on our Instagram handle, which one day I will remember. I think it's at Rack Pack Show.
That is it.
Yes.
Well done.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
We got some great episodes coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. We got some great guests and plenty more to talk about. So we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
No, we messed it up again. It's Rack Pack Podcast, everyone. We messed it up again. It's Rack Pack Podcast.
Just do it again. Do it again real quick.
Let's re-record the whole hour. All right. Bye, everyone.
Social media.
Bye.
Bye.
Womp womp.